This is Wayzata Basketball Team 311 offensive scheme. Our players on the court today are Panda, Stormtrooper, R2-D2, Gandalf, and Batman. They are designated with the numbers 1 for Panda, 2 for Stormtrooper, 3 for R2-D2, 4 for Gandalf, and 5 for Batman. I have a rudimentary basketball court drawn here, a half court. This would be the offensive side. The back court would be on the other side. It's not drawn there. And the way our offense works is Panda brings up the ball. Stormtrooper takes the high side on the left being the left side of the court when you're coming down the court, so the left hand of Panda. R2-D2 goes down in the right corner. Gandalf goes down into the left corner, and Batman, our number 5 guy, is our post player, and when the ball comes up the court, he starts out on the high side on the right, the high side of the paint on the right side. The paint is this area here underneath the basket and in front of the free throw line. Our basketball today is going to be represented just by this little washer. So Panda brings the ball up the court and basically situates himself somewhere up on the high right side. And basically Panda's options when he gets down here is to dribble and drive to the basket if there's an open lane and try and take a shot, or to pass it off to probably one of 3 players, either Batman, R2-D2, or Stormtrooper. More often than not, we're not going to make this long pass. But it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we do so if it's wide open. We'll make the cross-court pass, but usually we're trying to get it to one of the 3 closer players. The basic premise of the offense is to pass and then cut to the basket. So if Panda passes the ball down to R2, Panda then cuts to the basket, in this case trying to use Batman as a little bit of a screen or a pick here, cutting in front of Batman, looking for a pass as he goes to the basket. R2 has the option of passing it to Panda for an easy layup if he's open. Otherwise, Panda just goes through the lane and then heads off to the other side. Now, after Panda passes the ball and then cuts, a bunch of stuff happens simultaneously, or happens all at the same time. As Panda's cutting through the lane, you'll see there's an open spot here now that needs to be filled. And what ends up happening is our players rotate around. So Stormtrooper rotates around and takes the spot of Panda. Gandalf moves up into the open spot of Stormtrooper. And then Panda takes this open spot over here. And the ball's down the corner now, so then Batman comes down into the corner, down basically on the block, the little rectangle painted on the floor next to the basket. And now R2 has the same options again as Panda had when Panda had the ball. He can either drive to the basket or shoot if there's an open lane there, or can pass it down to Batman if Batman's open, or pass it back up to Stormtrooper. So let's imagine that R2 passes the ball back up to Stormtrooper. Then after R2 passes the ball, he cuts to the basket. So then he cuts in here, looking for a pass from Stormtrooper. If Stormtrooper doesn't get it, then Gandalf is going to have to rotate back around. Gandalf then rotates back around and takes this open spot. Panda moves up into that spot, and R2 takes that open spot, and Batman moves back up here. And we keep doing that until we get a nice shot off, make a basket, or the other team maybe gets a defensive rebound and then heads down the other way. We basically pass the ball, cut to the basket. In this particular case, if we pass down to Batman, Batman could hand the ball off to Stormtrooper as he's coming through to the basket. If not, Batman also has the option then of driving to the basket or taking a shot if it's open. But if we get thwarted there, or if the defense stops us, then again we have to fill in the gaps and come around and fill the space. Batman is always moving around out on the perimeter of the paint area, this little rectangle down here. So if Panda has the ball and passes over to R2, Panda then cuts, looks for a pass over here. In this particular case, this one's a little bit different now because the person down in the corner, in this particular case Gandalf, is going to cut up here to fill that spot, and Panda has to come back around and fill that spot. The person that passes and cuts is always looking for that vacant spot after all the players rotate. And it might be a different spot all the time. Pass, and then Batman moves over here in front of the ball on the paint there. If the ball gets passed down here to the corner, R2 cuts through the lane, ideally in front of Batman and using Batman as a screen, looks for a pass. Batman moves down here to the block in front of Stormtrooper. Gandalf moves around to fill that open spot. Panda moves over here to fill that open spot, and then R2 comes and fills here. So the basic premise is pass the ball, cut through the lane, everybody rotates to fill in the open spot, and we try and get hopefully a shot relatively close to the basket.